Welcome to the Rated M for podcast, your new favorite video game podcast. It's Sunday, August 31st, and I'm your host, Drew Freeman. Joining me today are Rory Wood.
What's up, gang?
I'm so glad you're awake.
Just.
Sean Messler.
Hello.
And we're joined today by a special guest, Eden Rohatensky. Is that correct?
Hey there. Yeah, that's right.
I didn't even check ahead of time to see if I said it right. Eden of Jimmy and Eden, Orphan Mothers. What else? Like seven.
Eden and Escrow.
Eden and
Eden
Escrow.
does
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. And
I
and
can't
more
remember
and
anything
more.
else right now.
We're really happy to have you on the show, fellow busy
Thanks.
podcaster. We usually kick things out. We kind of have a weird show today because, like last week, it's kind of a light news week, but at the same time, it's not because PAX is going on like literally right now. It has been going on this weekend. There have been some news bombs, but nothing like I don't know. The whole week with all the Gamescom news has really put shadows over these weeks. So we'll figure out what we can do. But usually we start off with what you're playing, and we will let ladies go first. So Eden, what you been playing this week?
I actually haven't touched any video games this
Oh
week,
my God.
which feels awful and horrible. I've been
Picked a great week.
Get
working
out.
a lot. Yeah. Before that, I've been playing Persona 4 Golden, Harvest Moon, and I started GTA, but I don't think I'm gonna touch it again because my dad just like gave it to me for free, so I thought I'd try it out, and it's not my jam.
That's not my bag, baby. So sorry, that was terrible.
That was
Yeah, it
really
was.
bad.
Sean's right though. You did pick a good week because like with Xbox Live and PlayStation having their issues and I still feel like Twitch and everybody who was hit with those DDoS attacks are still kind of having not the best service in my opinion. So it is good timing. What about Diablo 3? Did you get into Diablo 3? That's like everyone's go-to lately.
I haven't bought a PS4 yet, so
Did you play it on
Nope.
PC when it originally came out?
Nope.
Or? Nope.
Not really a game that I ever thought that I would try. I might try it once I get a PS4, probably waiting for a little while because I made a promise to myself that I'd get through my backlog before buying a PS4, but we all know that's not going to happen.
No.
So probably we'll try it out if my friends are still playing it. There's a lot of my coworkers play it, so if they're still playing it by the time I get a PS4, I'll try it out. But
Well, Diablo's one of
thought
those
I'd
games
be
that
a
somebody
Diablo
plays for
fan.
a
Ow.
long time. So, let's see. I feel like I had one more question about gaming and you and this summer and damn. Well, Harvest
Drew
Moon
just
and
dropping
some
the
of those.
ball.
Yeah, no, I Butterfingers and all those other things. Uh, is Harvest Moon part of your backlog, or is that something you're just not getting to, or is that just your go-to? Or?
No, I'm playing the PS1 version,
Oh, geez.
which was
Okay.
like a port from the N64 version. And the N64 version is probably one of my favorite games ever. And it was
Nice.
on PlayStation Network for like $6, so I bought it. And I mostly just play it if I like actually have nothing to do. So I've gotten through like maybe 2 hours of it.
Nice.
And like it's one of those games that doesn't stress me out at all when I play it. So I like it.
Nice.
So I get really stressed if I play most games.
Yeah. So, Sean, what'd you play this week, dude?
I played Infamous First Light, the
Okay.
standalone DLC pack for Second Son. And first, I gotta say, for a $15 DLC, that is fucking gorgeous. Like it doesn't feel scaled back at all. I mean, obviously it's scaled in the fact that you don't have all access to all of Seattle, but in terms of graphics, in terms of all the technical aspects that would go on and made in Second Son look like probably the best looking game out right now on consoles, and it looks every bit as good. The voice acting is every bit as good. The gameplay is just as fun. The flaws are still there. There's still an open world without much of a world to it. The pedestrians walk and drive. Pedestrians walk, drivers drive, and that's pretty much all they do. There's no real interaction with them in the world. So that's a negative for an open world game. But the story is much tighter because it focuses on one character and their interaction rather than in Second Son, it was Delson interacting with several characters. So it just deals with her, Fetch, and her brother, and her quest to rescue her brother. It's yeah, I mean it's kind of weird because it's a prequel, so if you played Second Son, you know where it's going, you know where it's going to end up, but you don't
Hmm.
exactly know how it ends up there. So that was kind of cool. They did play with that a little bit, and there were some surprises there.
Yeah, they keep it
And
interesting enough for you to not just kind of have it be a foregone conclusion type thing.
yeah, I mean, you know it's like you literally know exactly how this ends up if you played Second Son, but it's like they fill in gaps. So you're like, oh, that's cool. That was interesting. It was well done. It benefits from having the single character with the single motivation, whereas you can really get to know Fetch and her, like how she's like how she got to be the way she is instead of because you come, if you played Second Son, and the thing is you don't necessarily need to play Second Son to play this, like literally and figuratively. You don't need the disc physically in your PlayStation 4. You can download this for $15 and play it. But in story wise, it's not like the Last of Us DLC where like if you play it you're gonna get a big spoiler. This kind of is its own thing that,
Hmm.
if it helps probably enhance it a little bit more if you had played Second Son, but it's not dependent on you playing it.
And I've heard
And
I've heard though that you don't want to play it like play it before Second Son because it just there's there's not enough context to the world and some of the things that you're doing that they include in
uh,
Second Son. Is that correct? Does that sound right to you?
I guess like taking a step back and looking at it that way, maybe. Um, but I mean, I don't understand any situation where you would play this before Second
Right.
Son.
Yeah.
But if you did, I don't think you would be lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't quite set up the DUP as well as obviously Second Son does,
Hmm.
and Augustine and stuff. But it's still, I still feel like you can get some enjoyment out of it
So
just
I
from
have a I
playing
have a
it.
question. After playing this, all right, two questions. One, do you think there's going to be more DLC like this, more characters, more stories to tell with Second Son,
Uh,
or do you think they're going to move on?
well, it's kind of hard because they just laid off a shit ton of people. We don't know exactly how many people they did or why they laid them off.
Yeah.
But
I thought that
I
was higher
feel
up
like
people though, right? Not exactly people like building DLC or something, or
I don't
was it more than that?
I don't know. But if you get
Yeah,
rid of higher up people, there's that's kind of where the directions come from.
that's
So
true.
I just feel like they could absolutely do that. They put this together. I mean, I feel like there had to be plans to do this ahead of time, because the side characters, including Fetch, don't really get a lot of time in the game. It's the shortest Infamous game by far,
Hmm.
Second Son.
Yeah.
So I feel like they kind of the way they. I mean, this is pretty impressive for them to have done this in what 8 months. So
This that
I don't.
DLC.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't really feel like I feel like that might have been part of the plan, and maybe that was part of the plan all along with the other characters, or some of the other characters. But I don't. I mean, they could definitely do that. But I feel like Fetch was the most interesting of the side characters in terms of her power and her. So I feel like doing any other DLC with the
It'd
other
be
sub
weaker.
characters
Yeah.
would be weaker. Excuse me, unless you want to continue Delson's story. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I could see them moving on from this. I don't. Did
So
they sell a season pass for this? I don't think they
I
did.
don't think so.
Yeah. So
If it did, I think it might have only alluded to this. No, because First Light was announced at E3, so I don't think. Anyways, my other question though was, do you see them using the same engine? You know, the critique of like having a lack of life in the city and stuff like that. I think it was pretty valid. Do you see them using this engine or building something again from scratch for future Infamous titles, uh,
well, I mean,
to kind of maximize on the PS4's hardware?
I have a limited uh, knowledge of like how engines work and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
sure.
But I think that the AI, those are AI behaviors, and I don't think that has anything to do with their graphics engine.
Need that power of the
No, it's
I
cloud.
think
most
that
it's a scripting thing, really.
yeah. So I think that they could still use this engine. They just need to figure out how to give the world something to do. I mean, when you we the reality is we do live in a post GTA 5 world, and like the game or not, that's an impressive feat what they
Yeah,
pulled
we're about
off.
to be in a post GTA 5
Yeah.
on PC world, and that's going to be totally different.
And they whatever they pulled off, like so many different NPC characters that you interact with, and that's something I feel like Infamous needs that they've never had. Is like you have your one person that you kind of communicate with and get sent on missions, but there's not like there needs to be a world. Like it needs to be a world where like it's more than just like opening a cage and setting people free when you're saving people. I'd like to see like more more of a world, you know what I mean? Like I'd like to
Hmm.
see more of like random encounters, like random events that you can go and stop that aren't just like a hostage
Like
situation.
picking up hitchhikers and taking them out to some crazy
Yeah,
cult in
something
the
like that.
mountains.
And yeah, like and I mean, and there's a payoff for that, when you do
Yeah, yeah,
that.
there
Like
is actually. It's the funny part.
it
And
seems like this random
did you
thing.
ever finish that thing? Because that actually has an overarching narrative to it. Like you take those, so that's a good point. Actually, now that I think about it, that's a really good example of like making the world feel more alive than it really is. Because when you're picking up these hitchhikers in GTA 5, they're annoying, and you can take them where they need to go, or you can, as Trevor, like decide, screw that, I'm gonna drop these guys off at a cult that I know of that just takes people, and then they gave me money, and I just go on my merry way. But eventually, you can choose to like change your mind about it. When you get there, you can be like, no, you know what? I'm going to come in there and I'm going to straighten things out. And you basically like get into this huge firefight, and there's all these like, there you learn the truth. They're all cannibals, and it's like this
Well,
huge crazy
that's
thing. And you could completely bypass that if you're not paying attention to the people on the side of the street. It's
yeah, and that's well, I didn't get the last mission because I think I dropped one of the key people off at their
oh
actual location before I realized that was a thing.
yeah,
And
which is
so
cool.
I
It's not
didn't
like
get to
over. It
see
doesn't
it.
beat
But
you over
that's
the
what I'm
head about
saying.
it.
Like that's kind of stuff that I feel like all open world games kind of need that to varying effects to make them feel like they're an open world and it's not just a playground with these automatons
Right,
running,
right,
walking around, going about an AI routine.
right.
And that's the one. I when I reviewed Infamous Second Son, I gave it an 8, and one of the things that I dinged it for was the fact that the open world just doesn't feel like much of a
Sure,
world.
sure.
And that same thing carries on here, which is to be relatively expected considering the brevity of time they had from when they, launched Infamous Second Son and when they're launching this.
Sure.
So I
All
didn't
right.
expect them to rewrite the whole AI routines, but it's still something that bothered me, and it's something that I will hold against the game. But I do recommend the game. It's a lot of fun. If you've played Infamous Second Son, there's no reason not to play this. And me, I'm frugal. I think time and money are important things to me personally, and I feel like for $15, not on top of the campaign, you get a challenge arena that you can do different challenges in. You can do,
Right. Yeah.
like so for the amount of money and the amount of quality that you're getting and the amount of content that you're getting in that game, I feel like games like Gone Home that charge $20 for an hour and a half experience have a harder sell for me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? When it's
Yeah.
like
I
that's
hear you.
cool that that's that experience, but I don't feel like that's worth $20 to me when I can get
You want
something
the
like
you
this
want the
for
Skyrim value
15.
pack, like the
Yeah,
something that's going to give you days and months and
well, I mean,
weeks.
I'm once I do the challenge stuff, I'm pretty much done with this. But
Yeah.
I feel like for $15, there's a lot of quality and a lot of content here that it's way more than an hour and a half, is what I'm saying. And like
Word.
that's cool that those other experiences are there, but I feel like it's going to be it's hard to sell them on me when there's not a robust feature set and campaign for me to play for $20.
Cool. Yeah. All right, man.
And I'm
Well,
playing Final Fantasy VI more on my Vita.
you're throwing the review up this week, right? Or is that
Yeah, the only
okay?
reason why it didn't go up yesterday is because
PSN
we're
stuff.
migrating sites.
Well, that too. Yeah, yeah. All right, Rory. What'd you play this week, man? I know you're still doing the retro stuff, right?
I have been on a retro binge. Yeah, it's. I buy a new computer, and so far all I've really used it for is retro games that I could run on something that's 20 years old.
Good
I, bl- I
choice.
blame
Money well
I
spent.
blame I blame IGN. They're doing their 125th Nintendo thing, and they're showing all these old games, and I've just been going back, man, living in nostalgia. It's been great. Playing a lot of mostly NES stuff, but the other night I put some good time into Super Mario Brothers 64 or Super Mario 64,
I was like
and
Super Mario Brothers 6.
and then a little Punch Out as well. Super Mario still holds up like really well. It's just that the camera is a pain in the ass. I don't know how I thought that was acceptable back in the day, but I guess there was nothing really to compare it to. It was
Yeah, it was new.
pretty revolutionary at the time, but love that game and been having a lot of fun with the old Nintendo stuff. That's what I've been
So
playing.
I definitely caught some of your streams. I love, like, it really took me back hearing the sounds and everything. For a ROM, it's so well reproduced. Like, I was really impressed at, like, I actually didn't realize, it didn't click with me that you were playing on your computer, because I knew that you were getting like capture cards and stuff like that. So I thought maybe you were running an actual Nintendo through your computer, and then I realized some of the control issues you guys were having. I was like, oh, he's playing this on a computer right now.
Yeah,
Like,
I
holy
thought about
crap!
busting out the NES box. I just have so many cables on my in front of me right now. It's like I can't be bothered hooking all that up. So just hit click, hit file, played the game. But the
Yeah,
music, I mean, the music from the NES games is incredible. Any games from the 8-bit and 16-bit era for me like hold up more so than just a lot of games. All those 2D sprite games, I can go back and they still look good. They still look how I remember them. They play great. Well, some play great. It's funny playing Super Mario Brothers 3 after playing a bunch of other NES games. It's hard to believe that that really is on the same hardware. Nintendo just make a game that controls and feels so much better than so many of their contemporaries.
yeah, they
It's
definitely
crazy.
have the secret sauce. Especially back then, they had secret sauce that I think they were like literally not letting other people use. It
There
felt
was
like,
something going on for sure.
yeah,
All those games that we played, and then you play Super Mario, even the first one, but especially number 3, and it's so far ahead of everything else in the gameplay department.
word. I've been playing a ton of Diablo 3. I will be playing Diablo 3 for the foreseeable future. That game has me by the balls right now. Like, I can't stop thinking about it. Like, I can't, like, I have all these Rift Keystones now that I grinded for last night, and I have like 20 something Rift Keystones, and I want to go through all these rifts and get more loot and more gold and more, just level up my barbarians. And they started seasons Friday night, so now I've got like a new season hardcore character that I'm rolling through with Alex. And man, that game is fun. Holy crap. I don't even have the Ultimate Evil Edition. I'm still having fun with it again. So hats off to Blizzard for really pulling this game out of the fire of what it was at launch, which I enjoyed, but I can understand why people were griping about it. And they've done a great job of turning it around, making it way more fun than it ever was before, and providing tons and tons of replayability for people who've been playing forever. So for a 2-year old game, that game is pretty sharp. It's doing great. So yeah, let's get into news. There were some interesting things coming out of PAX, and even not even straight from PAX, but during PAX this week. And why don't we kick it off with Assassin's Creed Unity got delayed to November, which
11th.
is crazy. Yeah, the day Master Chief Collection comes out. A little mad
Well, it's
about
funny
that.
And
because
Assassin's Creed Rogue.
Yes. Yep. It lines it up with Assassin's Creed Rogue. So I think we talked before about, it's a little weird to me to see Assassin's Creed Rogue come out on the 360 and the PS3 after Assassin's Creed Unity. Eden, are you tracking both of these games? You know the difference? Did you know there's two Assassin's Creeds coming out this year?
I knew that there was two, but I haven't played an Assassin's Creed since I got bored like halfway through the second one,
Mm.
so I haven't really cared.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I thought it was,
Somebody's dog disagrees.
yeah. The dog's like,
She
you
disagrees
bite
with
your tongue.
everything.
Brotherhood was the best game. Um,
It
so
was.
uh, I think it's weird enough to have a previous gen game come out after a current gen game, but now for the current gen game to come out the same day as the previous gen game, I don't know what that's going to spell for the sales of the previous gen version. I don't know. That's weird. Do you think they're going
Well,
to
it's still
cannibalize
gonna
each other at all, or what do you think, Sean?
no. I don't think they were ever going to. I think that people who have next gen, systems are going to want the new next gen experience, and the people who are the Luddites who haven't yet jumped ahead are
Thanks.
going to
Not
are
anyone
going
on
to.
this show though.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, but the people who haven't jumped ahead, if they want Assassin's Creed, they're going to get an Assassin's Creed on for their platforms. I don't really think they're going to cannibalize each other. There might be some Venn diagram where there's a few people that would want to play both, but it's a long holiday season. They could pick one up later.
For sure. For sure.
I just think it's funny that October went from being the most fucked month in the history of video games
Yeah.
to now it's not the most fucked month. I mean,
It's not even
basically,
close.
like
Yeah.
about a month ago, I said Sleeping Dogs coming out in October was a bad idea. Now it's a great idea. They have a whole fucking month.
Yeah, it's true.
Like,
And big things like Battlefield escaping the holidays altogether and getting pushed to next year. October has totally changed now with something like Assassin's Creed getting moved out of it. Is Far Cry still coming out in October? Wasn't that coming out also?
November.
Is that November as
18th.
well? Damn. So Assassin's
Comes out
Creed
the
and Far
same
Cry
day
now
as
coming out.
Dragon Age.
Yeah, but Assassin's Creed and Far Cry coming out a week apart from each other. That is crazy. Like
And the
Ubisoft
crew.
is nuts. Yeah, the crew's going to be interesting, but I feel like Assassin's Creed and Far Cry have more clout at the moment. I really do want to see the crew succeed. I know. Is anybody playing the alpha, or has anybody downloaded the alpha? Rory, I thought you were going to check it out.
I think they're labeling it as a beta at this point.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Get it right, Drew.
My apologies.
I've been playing it a little bit. I have to play. That's a big game, and my computer that I just picked up was picked up more for streaming my consoles and stuff. So it doesn't quite have the juice to run that game how I like. So I've been having to play it on the lower end settings for sure to keep it running smoothly. But it's fun. It's I think if you're not even into racing games, you might enjoy it. If you're into like open world stuff in general, you might have a good time with it. But you are in a car the whole time.
Yeah, see, if I can't get out of the car and shoot people in the face, I'm not interested.
Yeah, there's no getting out of the car and shooting people. But it seems like it's a really big, impressive, expansive world. Looks like there's lots of stuff to do. But for technical reasons, I haven't been putting as much time into it as I probably would have liked. These old NES games just keep sucking me back in, man.
You can't escape it.
You got the
retrovirus.
Man, I love them so much.
So Assassin's Creed delayed. That's interesting. Timing for me is terrible because it comes out the same day as Master Chief Collection. So I'm gonna be holding off until like December or something to pick up Assassin's Creed because I definitely want to pick up Far Cry the next week, and that's gonna keep my attention. I'm gonna have so much to play. God, it's gonna be ridiculous. How am I gonna do this? How are we gonna do this, guys?
That just fucked my whole GameFly plan up.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Really badly too.
Yeah, it's.
Like, I'm gonna have to move stuff.
This is gonna be crazy. So next thing up on the news list here is Ninja Theory, the guys behind Heavenly Sword, correct?
Yeah. And Enslaved.
Enslaved. I feel like they did something.
And DMC.
Yeah, it's Devil May Cry. Thank you. I was gonna say I thought they did Devil May Cry, but for a second I might have been confused. They are working on the combat mechanics and the characters, a handful of characters. I don't think it's all the characters, but upcoming Disney Infinity 2.0 with the Marvel characters. They're building those guys, which I think is really interesting to have somebody like Ninja Theory working on Disney Infinity. I don't know. Rory, you played a little bit of Disney Infinity, right? Are you gonna check out Marvel Heroes for Kids World or?
Oh, definitely. There's no way that's not going to land in my lap. So
Nice.
I will be booting that one up, playing around with the new toys, importing them in, and having some fun for sure. So I look forward to seeing what Ninja Theory has done with these characters for sure.
Yeah. Eden, have you played any of the Disney Infinity stuff or even Skylanders or any of that stuff? Those little characters that you put on the pods?
I make fun of people, like my friends that buy Skylanders, because it's funny. But no, actually, I've actually never played a video game.
Yeah. No, that
based
sounds about
on
right.
This conversation today. No,
Have you seen Disney
never really
Infinity
been
though? Are
interested
you
in-
familiar with it?
You've played them, you just don't finish them.
I'm familiar with it.
Yeah.
But, Yeah, I don't know. I've never found the appeal of like any type of game where I have to like keep buying stuff to
Okay.
enjoy it. It's never been my thing, and I don't want a bunch of junk in my house,
Mm.
which, quite frankly, I think Skylander toys are, or the future Disney Infinity ones.
We'll talk some more about some of that junk that you can fill your house up with this Nintendo stuff later, but I would tend to agree, except if I had kids, I think Disney Infinity would be like the bane of my existence, but also the joy of my existence as far as sharing video games with kids, because not only are you playing a pretty good game, I mean it's really well put together, it's got a lot of interesting things going on just objectively, but
It
I,
does. The toy box mode is
yeah,
great. Like as
it's
somebody
basically
like me that
Minecraft
likes
with Disney
to,
assets, right?
yeah, like I like to design levels. I love Halo Forge, and that's something that the kids really get into as well. And it's one of the big pluses to that game is toy box mode, because you can go in there and everything that you earn throughout playing the single player or cooperative like missions, you earn pieces that can be then used in the toy box, and then you can build whatever you want. You've got this incredible freedom. You can make races, you can make wrestling arenas, you can build castles and have like obstacle courses through it. You can basically create your own game within the game, which is very cool.
Sorry, I'm getting confused by the chat. We're establishing who is a dog and who is not a dog and who is a male and a female. I think everybody's on track now that
Well, that's topical. That's topical right now because the company behind Hello Kitty has revealed that it's actually not a kitty. It's not a cat. It's a little girl. That's what
is
they're
it
trying to
though?
say now.
Is it
It's a
though?
cat. It's got
It's
cat
got to
ears and
be a cat.
whiskers.
Yeah. That whole thing was so weird. And then what was it? The follow up Peanuts, right? Peanuts
Yeah,
came out and said
Peanuts.
that
Can
Snoopy
Snoopy
is a
is a
dog.
dog.
He is a dog, confirmed.
All right.
Everybody
Well, I'm
can.
just waiting on. I'm not satisfied until I hear what Paddington Bear is then, and then I'll be able
Well,
to rest easy.
as long as Babar is an elephant and we're all like okay with that, we can move on. I can go on with my
please.
life. Sean sounds like he's drowning. Please, oh my God, someone help me! This is dumb. uh, so the next thing I wanted to talk about real quick was Halo is kicking ass at PAX right now. They showed off Lockout, which is now called Lockdown, which looks amazing. They've been doing tons and tons of streams of this competition going on, and I've actually been sucked right into it. Like I've never really been one to watch esports or watch competitive matches, but the casting's been great, and I've actually really enjoyed kind of remembering the fun of playing some of these older maps and all the cool little neat tricks and jumps and secret spots and all that stuff. That's been a lot of fun. The other interesting thing was they showed Halo 3 running at 1080p at 60 frames per second. It looked incredible. What's amazing is they really haven't done, like, it's hard for them to explain, like, hey, we really haven't done a lot to Halo 3. And then their point is like, we didn't have to do a lot to Halo 3 because it's a gorgeous game that was kind of too good for, it was too pretty for its own console that it launched on, and now you're really getting to see it at its full potential. And
Bullshit.
it's really weird. Yeah, you can say bullshit all you want, but go check it out, man. I
It's
think it looks
bullshit.
fan fucking tastic. But anyways, I felt like there was one more thing. Oh, they did talk about some Forge, and I was really curious to hear what Rory thought. I don't know if you, I know you haven't caught those videos that I linked out to you, but
No, I've totally missed it, but really excited when I saw that you had tagged. It was just before we came live that I saw that you had tagged those things
one of the
for me to
interesting
check.
things that I wanted to throw out there then is uh, there are skybox maps. So basically, instead of having to build around the architecture of a level or like the established terrain or whatever, you just have a skybox and you can build your own terrain and build your own level and basically place it wherever you want within this skybox, which is just freaking insane.
Oh, like can I put natural stuff down like in the sky, like in the skybox? Like I can create
Yes.
my own like mountain or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. I was gonna say in the past Forge, like I would totally just go up into the sky as high as I could and build stuff anyway that was like
And
floating up.
I
There.
think
If
a
I
lot
could
of people
start
use
completely
Forge World.
fresh.
A lot of people use Forge World like that. Like they wanted to have the background of Forge World, but they didn't want to use any of the actual terrain of Forge World, so they just set this box in the middle of the sky, right? So now you don't have to, like, you still have the skybox and you still have what you would have had with Forge
You're
World,
breaking
but
up big time on me
Hey,
here.
Drew.
oh, seriously? Hold on.
You sound like a robot.
You're a robot. I am not a robot. I sound okay? I haven't done anything. I'm just sitting here. Am I good?
The Skype call is very weird.
Really?
For on my end, it did. I didn't hear like half of what you said.
Really?
Sean's starting to sound like a robot to me too.
I see. No one
We're
sounds like a
under
robot.
attack.
Eden, are you a robot?
I am not a robot
Are you sure?
or a dog.
Okay. All right. Confirmed. No robots or dogs on this call. Does everybody sound good? Does everybody sound good to each other?
No, you sound like crap, man.
What? Still? Fucking fuck me.
So bad.
Beep boop. Talk about Forge.
I'm excited.
What are you hoping that they have in
for
it?
Forge. I don't know. My biggest thing was always just that I wanted more memory in a sense. Like I wanted a higher budget within the Forge. I wanted to be able to just build more. It was limited in that sense. And more variety, I guess, in pieces. I like what Halo 4 did early on when I first got into the Forge, in the sense that they had like custom textures for pieces, depending on whether or not you were building sort of like on like one of the moon-like areas, or the underground sewer-esque kind of lagoony weird fucking thing. I just want more variety. I would like to have the Forge world back, like a giant space, or like you say, the blank skyboxes. And I would like to be able to apply a different texture set. Like if they give me like 5 texture sets, I'd like to be able to pick which texture set I would like for certain pieces, so I can mix and match whichever world I'm building in. That would be nice.
All right. So first of all,
Rory, is it just
everyone
us?
on the I'm
Hello?
here.
Oh my god.
No, I'm
Sean. Oh, okay, good.
So
we're still a threesome.
everyone in the
That's all
chat
right. We can
says
make
I
this work.
sound
No, Drew's
here.
okay to them. No, I muted for a minute while you were talking, so I could go grab
Well,
my other
this is
mic
going
just in case.
extremely smoothly.
Oh my god. Anyways, so what I was going to say though, to answer something that you have a concern with that I think you'll be excited about, is they're including like flora and fauna and terrain and rocks and shit to gussy up your Forge world maps or your Forge maps, so that they don't just look like, gray, crappy looking maps, which all the other previous Forge maps look like. So
Yeah, I always did my best to I colored every single piece too, right? So I would go through my Forge maps and select a team color for certain pieces. So my maps always had a lot of color. I would always use the max lights I could. It's usually 2 or so. And plus I would color every single piece so that I would have red sections and blue sections and yellow sections. So you can get really creative within the limitations of what was there. I just
Yeah.
want some of those limitations pulled away, which it's sounding like they've done. I've got to go back and check out the videos now myself.
yeah,
though,
it's
but I'm
like you
excited.
get a performance meter to show you how well the game is running based on what you're doing, which is also crazy. There was a bunch of stuff. Also at the Halo panel, somebody proposed to someone else on stage live while the panel was going. That was crazy.
Nice.
That was really cool. They were all cosplayed up, like Spartans, so that was good to see. And then we're going to see more about Halo 1 next month, is the last thing that they teased. State of Decay is coming to Xbox One. That's crazy. Sean, have you played State of Decay?
I played the demo, and I downloaded the game probably about a month ago. It was on sale for $8, and I should have known better, because usually when I buy something that's $8 or $5, they usually announce a better version or something. So yeah, that's happening.
Yep.
So that's great. Now I have no reason to fire it up on my Xbox
I would
360. Even though
I would
paid for
suggest
it.
trying to play through at least the opening of the game on the 360, if only
Well, I did
to.
on the demo.
Yeah, that's true. That is the whole opening of the game. If only to appreciate how well the Xbox One will probably run in comparison, because that game has been patched a lot to fix stability and how well it runs and how well it looks and stuff. But even now, it's you can tell
the
that
problem with
they
games
had
like
more
that-
aspirations for that game than what it turned out to be.
The problem with games like that for me is that I am somebody who likes an end game. I don't like just going. I don't mind open world exploring games because I love Skyrim, but there was an end game involved. Everything had an ending. You could still explore the world, but the story was done. And that's why I can't get. That's why I'm not that excited for No Man's Sky. That's why would never play Minecraft. Well, besides the fact that it's hideous, but like I just don't like. I don't know. I like to have an end game. So as much as I love zombie games and zombies and stuff,
Hmm.
just being there wandering around and with no real end doesn't really. I can't like. It's not something because it just feels daunting to me. It's like, when am I going to have time to really put in time? For
Yeah,
lack of a
it
better
does.
word.
It does. That game specifically gets a little imposing sometimes. Rory, did you play State of Decay on the 360 or on PC? Because it's also on PC, I know,
Well, no, I
with the
wasn't.
Steam.
I wasn't really running PCs until recently,
Oh
and
shit, that's right.
unfortunately, my Xbox 360 had died just around the release of that game. So I was looking forward to playing it. Missed it personally, so I'm excited to be able to check it out on Xbox One.
Rad. I think it's going to be sweet, and I really look forward to pretty much what they're going to do after this. Uh, the guys at Undead Labs really wanted this to be an MMO or at least something with online functionality, but when they were coming down to the decision of whether or not they could build that into the game, they had enough resources and time. They actually had to cut it, and it's something that, like, when you play the game, it's clearly designed to be played with other people, but they didn't fit that in. And I don't expect that to be in the Xbox One version because I think they're focusing on the next title, which is basically going to be State of Decay, but as an MMO, which makes more sense. And I think that this is just going to be like a refresher and a reminder that people who might have missed this, because it was kind of a dark horse when it came out. I mean, it was one of those summer of arcade games, and I think the most publicity this game has gotten was when Phil Spencer wore their shirt last year at E3. So hopefully this gets people excited for their next game. Um,
I think it will, and
Well,
we're going to hear about that game in the not too distant future, probably. I mean, they're going to
I
Microsoft. I would think
agree.
is going to try
Yeah.
and compete with Sony's got their own MMO zombie game,
Well, they
right?
have
What's that one
two.
called?
They have H1Z1 and they have DayZ has been announced for PlayStation 4. So
Daisy, yeah, but the H1 that's their main,
mhm.
their exclusive ones.
what,
Sony's
Yeah.
been
Eden? What do you think about this? Do you even care about this?
I promise you, Eden, we will find something for you to
No.
care about.
She's fallen asleep on the comfy bed.
No, I'm not falling asleep. I actually I haven't touched my 360 since I moved the last time I moved, which was like 5 years ago. So,
I thought you were gonna say like five
yeah, it's
months
been in a
ago.
box. No, no, it's been like a really long time. I've been pretty strictly on my PS3 and Vita just because I only like having one console out for some reason, and the other one runs really hot, and I don't want to replace it.
Nice.
So not really caring about the indie games on Xbox too much right now.
Well, what about this game? Saints Row has been announced to have a standalone expansion coming called Saints Row Gat Out of Hell, and they also announced that Saints Row 4 is coming to the Xbox One and the PS4. Um, that's pretty cool, right?
I'm excited for that. I'm
Dil-
excited for that.
dildo
'Cause it was,
bats.
yeah, it was 360 exclusive, right?
No, I don't think Saints Row was, or it was originally. So I guess since it's been 5 years, it was the last time you played. But I think that with Saints
Yeah.
Row 2, they moved
I just
over
Wikipedia'd it, and it is only on 360, sir.
the original. The
Um,
original is.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. The first
I
two I
guess
think were
four
on three
probably.
Yeah, two, three, oh, 3 and 4 were multi-plat.
multi-platform. Yeah.
Did it go to PC? Did Saints Row go to PC? I don't remember. You're on Wiki.
Oh, I
um,
closed it. Just wait. Saints Row.
we talked
How do you spell
yesterday.
row?
I talked some. Oh, it's ROW. It's like Rory, but not with the R and the Y, and replace those with the W. It's kind of like Rotensky, but if you take all the rest of the word after row off and just put a W, that's how you spell row.
Okay, okay, good. I got it. What was the question?
So did Saints Row 4 go to PC? Just curious.
It went to Windows,
That would be
Microsoft
PC.
Windows.
All right.
So yes.
Those poor Mac players can't beat each other up with dildo bats. Pour one out for them.
And then three for Xbox One and 360. So,
Yeah. Yep.
I was wrong.
No, you were
Maybe I
correct
should
at
pick that
first,
up.
much like all of these other games like Mass Effect and Bioshock and stuff like that. It began its life as an Xbox 360 exclusive and then found its way out of there. Um, the thing about this, though, is you can't play. Rory, we talked about this. You're kind of bummed that you can't buy Gat Out of Hell for the Xbox One and just play that without buying all of it at once.
Well, has that been confirmed or
No, I
not?
have no
No, I
idea.
thought it was no,
Well,
no.
that's the thing. Exactly. That's what we were
Gat
talking
Out
about
of
this
Hell,
yesterday, and it's
Gat Out
standalone.
of
But
Hell
then,
is a standalone
but
yes,
see,
that's what I was
for
under the
twenty
impression too.
dollars.
but Saints
But
Row 4 itself. Wait, it's $20? I thought it was $40. Okay.
No, Gat Out of Hell is $20 standalone DLC.
So what about
yeah,
Saints Row 4 itself coming to Xbox One? Does that include Gat Out of Hell, or would you have to
No,
buy?
that's something this isn't Saints Row 4 Get Out of Hell. This is just Saints Row Get Out of Hell.
Right.
The Saints Row 4 will have all the DLC for $30.
That enter the dominatrix and all this stuff. Oh
Yeah,
wait, so that's only $30 coming to Xbox One next year?
I
Actually,
believe
we
so.
didn't get a window yet, did we? We don't even. I don't think there's like a release date or
I'm so
anything
glad
for
everyone
this.
was prepared for this show. That's
Yeah,
great.
man. Yeah, can't you tell? I spent like 6 hours in a library studying and researching and making sure I got all my facts.
I
Well, when
lost
the,
interest in the Saints Row series a little bit. I played them all. Didn't get. I lost interest in 4 very quickly, like faster than I did with
really,
any of the other games. And I understand why people love it. Saints Row 2 was always my favorite.
Me too.
When they were kind of like the first one was like them trying to kind of like mimic GTA, and then Saints Row 2 brought in a little bit more of like the comedic flair without getting like crazy with it, and then 3 just sort of went way to the left and they really started to separate from GTA, and then 4 is just like bonkers. And I get why people love it. I had a little bit of fun with it, but I lost interest so quickly and just like put it down, never went back to it. And if the new DLC looks fun, I might check it out. I'm not, I'm not going to just sit here and say like I'm never going to play that. It might look awesome. I might want to play it, but
it's basically Saints Row 4, but instead of the whole Matrix thing, you're in hell. So there's like demons and angels, and you have wings, and you shoot the devil in the face, and like
yeah,
it's
see,
it's pretty crazy.
I can't get excited about just hearing about it because I lost interest in Saints Row
Oh,
4.
there's a
Like,
trailer. I mean, if you want me to
so
watch it.
I haven't checked it out yet. So I'll check it out. But if I think it looks fun, I'll scope it out. But again, I'm just like, Saints Row, like it doesn't really get the needle moving for me.
Yeah.
Well, Saints Row, I love Saints Row 1 and 2, especially 2. 2 I thought was fantastic. 2 was definitely bonkers, but it didn't have superpowers. So that was what separated it, and it was still ridiculous. It was like with GTA 4 moving more grounded and less, jetpacky, I guess. Saints Row 2 kind of picked up the mantle there,
Yeah.
and it was great for it. And then Saints Row 3 came out, and I liked it, but I felt like it was small. Like it was another open world game where it just felt really small. Like nothing. I don't know. It just didn't. I thought it was good, but it didn't excite me the way Saints Row 2 did. Like I had so much fun on Saints Row 2, and one of the I'm going to get a little anecdotal here. One of my favorite things to do. I played with my buddy, and I would fuck with him constantly. And I was sitting there. He went to get his car pimped out, and I'm sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting. And finally, I was like, "All right, I'm gonna throw C4 down outside the garage." And then as soon as he pulled out of the garage, he's like, "Yeah, check out my ride!" And boom, I just blew him up with the C4. And
What a dick.
and then he'd be changing his outfits, and I'd throw C4 on him, and then he'd come out of the closet, like not okay, come out of the dressing room or
Go
whatever
on.
it was with his new outfit, and I'd blow him up. It was just so much fun just to fuck with. We were in a helicopter, and I would just jump out of the helicopter and not tell him that I jumped out, and
You
so
really
he would
need to
just.
play GTA 5. Like all this stuff is so much fun to do with your friends in GTA 5. Like you go like to rob a bank or just go like you're gonna go shopping or get some clothes like that. But when you come out, like I've got a tank rolling down the street and you're like all these cops just come and run you over.
But yes, with Saints Row, I didn't play the co-op with Saints Row 3 because I didn't really feel compelled to, and I've had Saints Row 4 for a while, but I've just had no desire to start it up. I feel like they went too far. I agree with Rory. I feel like they went too far in that other direction.
Mm.
I
Would
mean,
you like to
when
see
you make
Saints Row go back to that though? I mean, I feel like they can't. There's no going back at this point with that
well, they
brand.
can't now, and that's the thing. Like that's fine. It's just if Saints Row becomes a brand that's not for me anymore, then that's fine. You know, I'm okay with that. But I feel like it's stupid. You have cars, and then you give me superpowers that the cars are useless. So why do I have cars? You know what I mean? Like why
Yeah.
can I drive a car if I can fly? So it just seemed like they just kind of threw whatever at the wall and see what stuck. And
Yeah.
that's fine. There's a lot of game series that I've liked and then I've kind of grown out of, and it's not for me anymore. If Saints Row just happens to be one of those games, and so be it.
So moving on, Rory, we got some Nintendo news. We got a couple things to talk about if you want to discuss them. The bigger story though is that it's the 125th anniversary of the company, right? I guess that's kind of the news going on this week, but they've said a lot of things. Why don't you run down some of the stuff that they've done this week, and let's discuss some of the higher points.
Oh, what have they done? I've got
Man,
nothing
it's
written
so
down.
much.
Okay, so we got the new 3DS. It's actually called, I think, the new 3DS, right?
Yeah, it's the new 3DS and the new 3DS XL, which in Japan is called the LL,
Nintendo
and
and their naming, man.
and you need to call it the LL because it's only coming out in Japan this year.
The thing, at first I thought it was just going to be like a slight cosmetic,
Mhm.
ergonomics type thing, but that's a new piece of hardware, really. Like it's more powerful. It's going to have
Yep.
its own exclusive games to it. I was surprised by that. I don't know what Nintendo was thinking per se, but
Does
I'm
anyone?
I don't know.
I don't think they know.
I've never been a huge handheld guy. Like I've got a 3DS, but I have that from Kids World just so I can review 3DS games. For me, when I play games, I like to just sit down in front of my TV. So the new 3DS, like I think it looks cool. It's going to be great for like Smash Brother fans with that new extra C stick on there. But I'm curious to see how it's received. The hardcore Nintendo fans are going to pick that up for sure. But I'm curious to see how big of an appeal it really has.
So, they talk about they added characters. Speaking of Smash Brothers, right? They added characters to Smash this week, or what was it? There was a leak, and then they added Shulk from. Oh shit! I just went blank on where Shulk's from.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know Shulk, man. I've been out of touch a little bit with the Smash Brothers stuff after E3. I kind of just
Well,
like,
the
all right,
interesting
well,
thing
got my phone.
about the announcement of these characters was there was a leak earlier in the week that had a handful of like there was like some gameplay. It had the ESRB like name attached to some of the users, so they there was some legitimacy here. People thought it might have been real, but they showed some characters, and one of them is the duck hunt dog, and I find that really hilarious. Like, what are you gonna?
So good.
First of all, I think it'd be awesome to just beat the living crap out of the duck hunt dog. I'm really excited for that. But second of all, what are his attacks like?
Who knows? They'll come up with something. For
Yeah.
me, the biggest Nintendo news is the Mario Kart DLC. Like that. I mean, the new 3DS is obviously big news, but I'm most excited about that Mario Kart DLC. Mario Kart 8 is a fantastic Mario Kart. It's my favorite since Mario 64, and we're getting 2 DLC packs, and each of those contain 8 tracks each, some remakes, some new. We're gonna get tracks set in the Zelda universe and the Animal Crossing universe. Lots of new characters as well. Link's gonna be in there. That's exciting for me. I think Mario Kart fans are gonna have a lot to look forward to soon.
Definitely. Eden, have you played Mario Kart?
Not for a long time.
Really?
I
You
like
haven't
Mario
had a
Kart a
chance to
lot.
check out this new one?
No,
Oh
I
man,
don't have a Wii, and I have no friends.
you have no
So,
friends. I find that hard to believe.
No friends.
I could have swore I heard you talk to some friends one time.
What?
I could have
When?
swore that you had
I only
friends.
know you through the internet.
No,
Uh-oh.
I saw you one time, and you were like, "Hey,
Oh.
friends," and I was like, "Oh, look, she's got friends." And then I thought you hung out with those friends, but I guess I might have been wrong.
No, I stay in my apartment 24/7 eating bread and popcorn.
And playing your
That's all I
guitar.
do.
Sounds like a good
Yeah.
life to me.
Sean's like, "Let me move to Canada."
No, not that good.
Well,
Um,
what else? What other Nintendo news do we have, real quick, before we move off of that? Rory, do you remember
Oh
any of the
shit! Are
others?
you asking? You were asking me? That was a direct
Hi,
question.
Rory. How you doing? You're in charge of Nintendo this week.
Oh god, I
Um,
wish I had
yeah,
known
he's
that
just telling you
beforehand.
now.
Yeah, thank you,
Just
Drew.
like everything else with this show.
No,
yeah.
I don't know what the news is, but I think it's fun to just sort of mention like it is Nintendo's 125th anniversary, as we've said so, and a lot of people, think of Nintendo as a gaming company, which they have been, and that's where all their success has come from. But they've done a lot of interesting, fun stuff over the years. They started as a card company, they had a taxi company for a little while, and they even had their own chain of love
That's
hotels.
so weird. That's so weird. Like,
And then they finally got into gaming, and we should all thank Nintendo for that, though, because I know they weren't the first with the game consoles, but I really, truly feel that if Nintendo hadn't come out when they did with the NES, the gaming landscape today would be a lot different.
oh God, yeah. No,
It's hard for me to
I
imagine what it
absolutely
would
agree.
really be like, but, they might not have been the first, but in my eyes, like, they're the ones that really started this industry off, like, made it what it is today. That's my point.
Heck yeah.
Pioneers, if you will.
Yes, thank you.
So, I wanted to talk a little bit about Nintendo in general, if we could, just kind of like, I don't know, I guess reflect or reminisce a little bit. And then I decided that what we could do to kind of wrap the show is, after we discussed Nintendo, is sandwich. We started with what we were playing last week. I think we'll talk about what we're looking into getting into in the near future. So maybe think about that while we remember some Nintendo things.
We'll
I had
see what's
some,
up.
yeah, I had some questions that I was going to throw to you guys about Nintendo. It's not a trivia. Don't worry. You didn't need to study or anything. But
Here,
I would-
I got a impromptu trivia for
oh
everybody in the Twitch
Jesus,
chat and for you guys right now as well.
us
Nintendo of
up.
America is actually the majority owner of a Major League Baseball team as well.
That's
Name that baseball
true.
team.
Oh shit.
Name that baseball team.
I'm out.
The Astros,
Toronto Blue Jays.
It is not Toronto Blue Jays.
the Houston Astros,
It is not the Houston Astros.
the New York Mets.
That's not a team.
All right, I'm sick of this guessing. It's the Seattle Mariners.
Oh, that's so weird.
Woo!
Nintendo is the majority owner of the Seattle Mariners Major League Baseball team.
I would find it hilarious if like because Microsoft's over near Seattle, right? They're not in Seattle, right?
They're in
Microsoft
like
is in
Washington,
Seattle.
right?
No, they're not in Seattle. Yeah, they're in They're like right outside of it.
Okay. So what if, just to like mess with Nintendo, that like Nintendo, because Nintendo of America owns the Mariners, or someone at Nintendo of America owns the Mariners? that-
No, Nintendo of America, like
The company
as a-
itself owns the Mariners.
yeah,
What
yeah.
the
Nintendo
fuck?
of
Yeah.
America is the majority owner of the
So
Seattle
so
Mariners.
to mess
Major
with
League Baseball.
so to mess with Reggie, what if Phil bought the Mariners, or bought like their rivals, and then like the American console gaming war like fell over into the Major League Baseball,
Into
and they wound up
sports.
fighting. They wound up fighting. They wound up
What?
playing against each other in like a World Series or something.
I'm
stupid
surprised
Like
the Seattle Mariners don't have more like Nintendo themed home game giveaway type things, or
Oh,
maybe like
yeah.
Mario throws out the first pitch or something.
that. I mean, that should
I
be
don't know
like a
anything
constant
about
thing.
baseball.
Yeah.
About like the teams themselves and how they're doing, but how are the Mariners doing?
I could not tell you that. I was
Someone
a
in
big
the chat.
baseball
Obviously,
guy
they're not
until,
playing right now.
I bet someone in the chat knows how they're how they've been.
Somebody will know.
Yeah.
I stopped following baseball after the Blue Jays basically did back-to-back World Series, and then there was a strike, and then after the strike, I was like, oh. But I used to be in the stores collecting baseball cards, and good times, man.
So to bring it back to Nintendo, I wanted to ask you guys, what's your favorite Nintendo memory? What's your favorite Nintendo console? And what's your favorite Nintendo game? I'm stealing from my own podcast on another site, and we're doing this now. I'm going to go ahead and start with Rory. So what's your
Okay.
favorite Nintendo memory, sir?
Well, this is going to be a repeat because I
That's
was
okay.
guesting on the podcast yesterday. So
Nobody
anybody that's
listens to
listening
that show,
today,
so it's all right.
no, nobody listens, so it's all good. So I've got two memories that always stick out the most, and they're both getting consoles for Christmas of the Nintendo sort. And it was when I got my original NES back in the mid '80s. Great memory. Wasn't allowed to play it until I got cleaned up, so I got washed up and had a little rough shower there. I think at that age too, I think I was still having to like call my mom and stick my head out of the shower and ask her if I got all the shampoo like off my hair so it wasn't running in my eyes. You know, it's one of those things where I needed a little help still. So then I got out of the shower and I didn't even put my clothes on. I just had the towel wrapped around my little bum and I sat down on the floor and played Mario for the first time. And there's still a videotape going around, and it's in one of my mom's boxes, I'm sure, of me sitting there playing this NES in the mid '80s with my bare, pale little bum just exposed from behind. It's just a great memory. I'll never forget it. And I was also one of those kids that always liked to hunt before Christmas. You know, I kind of ruined the surprise sometimes. A week before, a few days before Christmas, I'd be rummaging through the closets when my parents were out of the house or something and finding my Nintendo 64 a few days before Christmas that year. It was like 1995 or 96. Oh, man, that was just, it's like that. I don't know if you guys have seen that YouTube video of the kid opening his N64, but it's,
Yeah, like him and his little sister are like freaking out.
he
Like
goes
he's
like
just
demonic.
beating the
Yeah.
crap
Oh
out of it.
my god!
Yeah.
It was like that. And that morning playing Super Mario 64. And I can't remember if I had Wave Race right away. Can't remember if that was
Oh,
launched.
man,
But Mario
Wave Race.
64 was just. I mean, that game just blew my mind. And having my mom sit there try and play it, and she's running. She's one of those moms that when she picks up a controller, she thinks that if she swings her arms around while holding the controller a lot, she'll be able to move the characters. And I guess that's why Nintendo had such a big success with the Wii all the years later, because finally my mom could just throw her arms around like a mad woman and be able to play a little Wii Sports. But those are my two biggest Nintendo memories: N64 for Christmas and the NES in the '80s.
So, favorite system then?
Come
Come on, man. See if you can narrow it down this time.
It's so hard to nail it down. It's one of those things. Nintendo's got such a great history of consoles and games that it's all dependent on the day that you catch me in, really, and the mood. And you know what I mean? Like it changes a lot.
Yeah, I get it.
I'll probably right now. I'll just, if I have to nail it down to one, I'm gonna say the NES. Just because that's what got me into gaming.
Yeah.
And going back, a lot of the games are still great. They're fun to play. They look and sound amazing. I love the soundtracks from those days. That chiptune stuff. And it's usually a three-way tie for a bunch of stuff. But I'll pick the NES right now.
Nice. And favorite Nintendo game, sir? It
It
doesn't have to be a game by Nintendo, but just a game that you played on a Nintendo system. Any system.
Okay, I'm not going to pick an obvious one then. I would normally go with like Super Mario Brothers 3, but I'm going to say Rogue Squadron on the GameCube.
Nice. All
Yeah,
right.
and Rogue
It's kind of a
Squadron
deep
2
cut.
as well. Really, really great games.
Very cool. Eden, you are
boy.
up. I gave you some time to think about this, and I would like to hear you say more than 2 sentences about your favorite Nintendo memory.
Okay, so when I was a kid, we had, I think it was an NES. I was like 1. And then after my parents got divorced, we weren't allowed to have consoles until I was like 14. And that was
Oh,
just because
wow.
my mom was like, we have a PC. Why do we need a console? That's
Man,
dumb.
your
That's
mom's a
waste of
PC
money."
elitist. That's awesome.
So I remember I got a Game Boy for Christmas when I was like maybe 10. And both me and my brother got one. I got a hot pink one. He got a lime green one. And he got Pokemon Gold. And I got Mary Kate and Ashley's platforming adventure. And I would sneak. I've told this story a few times, but I'd sneak into his room at night after he went to bed. He's a year and a half younger than me. And I'd steal Pokemon Gold so I could play it because it was obviously like a way better game than Mary Kate and Ashley. But I wouldn't be able to save because the saves were local to the cartridge. And so I would just play the beginning of Pokemon night after night after night and just catch a bunch of stupid Pidgeots or whatever. And then probably favorite game is we eventually got a GameCube and I spent a lot of time playing Animal Crossing. Like so much time playing
Yeah.
Animal Crossing. Oh my God. It's like the reason I haven't bought a 3DS at this point because I know that it'll just be like a huge time sink.
Oh,
It
yeah.
will own your soul.
Yeah. I really enjoyed Super Mario Sunshine when it came out. I
Really?
remember playing that, and that was pretty great for me. I don't know.
Looking for an HD
I'm
remake
really
of Super Mario Sunshine?
what?
I said, would an HD remake of Super Mario Sunshine get you on the Wii U?
I don't know. Maybe not. I'm not sure. I enjoyed playing a Mario game that wasn't like a platforming game because I'm so bad at platform games. So bad. I'm bad at games in general, but um I just thought it was fun to play. So was Galaxy, and I would consider if I had other reason to buy a Wii, like I would buy those games.
Hmm.
But um right now the only Nintendo thing I might get eventually is a 3DS. There's not really anything on the Wii U that's making me
Yeah.
desire it.
So, what is your favorite Nintendo platform?
Probably the GameCube. That's the
Yeah.
one I spent the most time with. Yeah.
Nice. Did you play Fantasy Star on the
No,
GameCube
I didn't.
by any chance?
I played I played pretty much strictly Harvest Moon again.
Yeah.
uh I played some Mario Kart, Mario Party, and then Animal Crossing.
No Resident Evil, no Soul Calibur, none of that.
Uh Maybe there was a Zelda game, but I can't remember.
There was a Zelda
I'm
game.
really great.
It was at the
Yeah,
very it was
there.
at the very end of the GameCube's life cycle though. It was Wind Waker.
Yeah, and then no,
I
it
mean
was at
not
the
but
beginning
not
of
Wind
the.
damn it, Twilight Princess, sorry.
What? Twilight
Yeah,
Princess was on
sorry,
the Wii.
that was
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, but they put it out on the GameCube.
Yeah, they
Twilight
did, and
Princess?
I did play
Yeah.
Twilight
Yeah.
Princess because we bought it because you had to buy it if you wanted to hack your Wii to steal games.
Yeah,
My
Mm.
ex did that,
they put
so
it out on the GameCube like the very end of the life cycle, and then it came out on the Wii to much more fanfare because they had redesigned it a little bit for that controller.
Yeah, yeah. I had
My
totally
wife
forgotten
actually
about that.
prefers it on the GameCube because she hates the Wii controllers.
As she should.
Yes, she
best
does.
Wii game hands down though was Cooking Mama. By the way, hands down, better than Zelda.
I'm gonna have to look that one up.
Yeah, Beth isn't really a big fan of Skyward Sword, so I don't think she'd like Cooking Mama, but she might agree that it's not a very good game. All right, so Sean, favorite Nintendo memory, sir?
Can I do that last? I want to do a
Sure,
favorite game because
you can
mine's
do it
not
whatever
necessarily.
order you want, baby.
Mine's going to be a more Sean spin on that
Oh,
question.
good, fantastic.
So, but my favorite, I'll be honest, I stopped with Nintendo. This kind of ties into my favorite memory of Nintendo, but it's I stopped playing Nintendo games after the uh, SNES. Like once PlayStation came out, that's where I went.
Hmm.
I was a big Final Fantasy guy. I guess I'll say my favorite memory. My favorite memory was when I realized Nintendo was fucking retarded, and when they weren't gonna continue with Final Fantasy because they said no to the PlayStation, whatever that disc drive was gonna be,
Yeah,
and
they had a
decided to
name for
stay
that, didn't they?
cartridge. And once Sony said, "Okay, here's Final Fantasy," that's where I went.
That was
And
your
it was
favorite
just
place.
that.
That was your favorite Nintendo memory is when you
Yeah,
jumped
because
off
it
and went to the
because
PlayStation.
yes, because I've been proud of the fact that I have never owned a single Nintendo platform since. Because I think Nintendo, I don't care.
Oh, this is such a Sean thing.
I think they're retarded. I think they're behind the technological curve in so many ways that it just drives me crazy. But my
Jeez.
favorite, but I only have two Nintendo platforms. Oh, that's not true.
Oh,
I do
right.
have a really cool memory though. I wanted to play Ocarina of Time so bad because that's the only game that'll get me back into a Nintendo platform is Zelda,
Hmm.
and so I wound up renting because back in the day
Yeah.
there was these places called video stores,
Hmm.
and you
Tell
could
us
go in
about them.
and rent things from them for a time
What?
period and then bring it back.
Wait,
Yep.
rent as in like you would walk up to the giant store box machine and ask the machine to go get you a
No,
thing?
no, no. There was people there. It was a big
People?
building with
What?
boxes. Yes,
My
and
God.
they actually. I worked at a video store and we rented out consoles. So I rented out the N64 and Ocarina of Time, and I played that, and that was an incredible game. And that was the last full Nintendo game I've ever played. But if I were to say my favorite Nintendo game, it's probably I gotta say Final Fantasy 3, aka Final Fantasy 6. Um,
Oh,
it
right.
was
Yeah.
three. It
Yeah.
was three when it, in North America when it came out,
Right. But
and
they were already on
just
6 by then.
that game like blew my mind in terms of what games could do in terms of storytelling, in terms of narrative, in terms of like just like there's parts where you get to pick different
Party
depending on who
members.
you pick,
Yeah.
going to exploring the world, you'd see different parts of the story, and it was just that kind of stuff was just really, really incredible to me. That it had branching paths and
Yeah, once
there.
upon a time, Final Fantasy was groundbreaking in narratives, and now they're just breaking narratives. I don't know
I,
how they
I,
screwed
I
that
mean, I
up.
haven't played Final Fantasy 13, so I can't say. But I've been a fan ever since, and I'll play Final Fantasy 15. But yeah, the Final Fantasy, I mean, that blew me away. That was just incredible, and like how Rory, you have a lot of reverence for the soundtracks. I don't because I used to turn the TV volume down and listen to my metal tapes. So I would listen to to me, Nintendo soundtracks are Iron Maiden, Metallica, Motorhead, stuff like that. So
Yeah,
that's
I
what I
have
would
fond
do.
memories of playing Monster Rancher, not Monster Hunter, Monster Rancher on the PlayStation, because you could put compact discs into the PlayStation and that would generate, like it would read the code of the disc and just randomly generate you monsters. And so I'd put like Pantera and Slayer and stuff like that in there. So yeah, I can feel you there because I used to listen to Pantera playing Metal Gear Solid back in the day. Like I
and
didn't.
and it wasn't until like I mean don't get me wrong, there's certain songs that I know the soundtracks and stuff, but I don't have a lot of reverence for those because I was doing that, and it wasn't until the PlayStation when they had voice acting and
Hmm.
orchestral music and soundtracks like that that I actually started paying attention, really paying attention to those soundtracks. But yeah, like I mean, I love my NES and SNES, and had Nintendo made better decisions, I would still be playing Nintendo.
Hmm.
Because I really absolutely loved. I mean, I was a Nintendo fanboy at that point. Like, I played Sega at my friend's house. He had a Sega, and I would go there and I play all I play Aladdin, I play NHL, PA, whatever it was at that time. 94, 95, and then I played Flashback, which is one of my all-time favorite games, and that was only available on there. But there's so many good games on the SNES. Shadowrun was a great game. Um, you know, obviously the Dragon Warrior on the original NES. Go-Go 13 was great. Like I loved my Nintendos for a while. Like I know I come off as a Nintendo hater, but it's not. It's just I'm mad at them for for making bad decisions.
So my favorite. All right, so my favorite Nintendo memory. I kind of copped out when I did this earlier in the week. I think I'm gonna have to go with something that ties into one of my favorite Nintendo games, and that would be. You know what? No, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go real basic. My favorite Nintendo memory is the first time I ever experienced like a room full of people like playing couch co-op, and that was split screen GoldenEye with like a handful of my buddies from school. That was a whole new experience because prior to that, the the split screen or the like playing with friends was limited to like maybe a fighting game or something for me, and so you only got a couple people playing at once. So playing GoldenEye with my friends and everybody running around and you know trying to figure out why we can't shoot Odd Job because he's too short and ridiculous stuff like that. Learning all the secrets in like the catacombs and some of those cool maps that people forget about now. Um, Probably one of my favorite Nintendo memories, but my favorite Nintendo system had to be the NES, and my favorite Nintendo game on that system and of all time is Tetris, because Tetris was just perfect on the NES, and it was this thing. It was the first time I can remember, like literally losing time to a video game. You're just sitting down to be like, oh, I'm gonna play a little Tetris, and then maybe go ride my bike and shoot some hoops, and da da da. And next thing I know, the sun's down and it's like dinner time, and I'm like, I've been playing for 6 hours, like as a little kid.
Tetris?
Oh yeah, yep.
Wow.
As a little kid, the concept of doing anything for 6 hours is just mind-boggling. Like if you as a little child, like a 8-year-old or something, or a 6-year-old, if you told me you're gonna go sleep and you're gonna sleep for 8 hours, I would be like, that's a long freaking time. Like I can't even think about 8 hours. And with ADD in full swing when I was a little kid, I don't know how that game locked me in so hard, but Tetris was the game that I would spend the most time on at any single time in my Nintendo career before I got into Xbox and stuff. And I would say outside of like Tetris, as far as like a Nintendo-made Nintendo game, Super Mario Brothers 3, as cheesy as it sounds, Rory, as easy as selection as that is, that really was like to me the pinnacle of Nintendo being Nintendo and being like on top and being number one and having, the clout to have the Wizard made and seeing that movie and then going home and actually playing Super Mario Brothers, and I like that whole thing was just that was the best. And that was perfect timing because I was the right demographic for that. So I do remember having dreams every night for almost a year of waking up one morning, going into the living room, and finding like a Game Boy on top of the television, and it being like a birthday present. And then my birthday's in October, so like when I didn't get it for my birthday, I was like hoping that I get it for Christmas. So I kept having dreams that I would like walk into the living room and find this Game Boy and be like, "Oh yay, Merry Christmas!" I never owned a Game Boy.
Did you tell Santa about it? Because it sounds
Oh
like you
yeah.
didn't.
No, I sure did. I was always begging for that thing.
Were you bad?
No, but I just don't think that we could afford it at the time. And so, but luckily though, when I did like play with other friends' Game Boys, I actually couldn't stand the screen. I thought it was cool, but I didn't like the lack of detail and the size and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Like
I
it
didn't
really
care about
bothered me.
handhelds until the PSP.
Handheld has never. I think the 3DS has done a good job, but when I was a kid, like a Game Boy just didn't make any sense to me because I was like, if I'm out somewhere, I'm probably on a bike or with friends at like with BB guns or like just hunt like fishing or something, and you're not exactly going to be like, all right, let me cast my fishing rod and set it here in this here holder and pull my Game Boy out and play some Pokemon on it or something. Like I don't think any redneck in the middle of Kansas is like sitting there with his 3DS with his fishing lure like bobbing up and down out there. Probably
The
now, but
3DS, like handhelds for kids were like when you went to the mall and your mom was shopping and you wanted to just have something to do while she was doing something, looking at clothes, which was not interesting, or going to the dentist office or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, yep.
yeah, if you're out doing other things, and
But then
yeah,
I had
like,
Where's Waldo books for that. Or Highlights
wow.
magazines. But yeah. So Nintendo, right guys? Pretty cool.
Yay!
Why don't we
They're
wrap
always, you know what? They're always gonna have a place in my heart, Nintendo. Like
and
even
see yeah,
if
so
they
we
just go disaster after disaster after disaster, I can always just fall back on my NES
Even
games,
if
my
he says,
SNES games. And,
even when
well,
um
I still have hope for the future for Nintendo. And again, at the end of the day, they make great first party games. And the problem with the Wii U right now is that they're just not delivering them fast enough. Like they're just not coming out quick enough, and they don't have the third party support, so that makes it even more evident. But those guys make great games with great gameplay from their
they
first
always
party
have.
studios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got some flack from a listener for ragging on Nintendo last week, and we do have like honest to God issues with some of the things that are going on with the Wii U specifically. But we do that because like we know that it could be better. Like Nintendo could be a lot better, and Nintendo does make great games, and so they deserve to sell really well. They deserve to be in everybody's hands. Eden deserves to want the Wii U so that she can experience the joy that is Mario Kart 8. Like it's it's
I don't know
unfortunate.
if you've seen me drive before.
No, if you
I don't
drive
know if this is a
terribly,
good
then you're
thing.
perfect for Mario Kart. That's exactly what you need to do in Mario Kart. No one
I don't
drives
know
well in
if
Mario Kart.
anybody's ever gone to the hospital as a result of playing Mario Kart, but if I played it, it would probably happen.
I think that would be worth trying out. So like I said, we rag on him because we love him, and I just wanted to make that apparent today. So why don't we wrap the show with talking a little bit about what we're going to be looking forward to, so that maybe Eden can tell us about games that she is going to play this year. So Eden, what are you looking forward to by the end of the year? Are you considering getting a next gen console? If not, what are you going to pick up?
I want to play Destiny. A lot of my pals are playing it. So I'll probably get a PS4 before then.
Okay. Okay. Are you
Um,
looking at that white PS4? The Destiny PS4?
no,
No.
no, I want my consoles to be as conspicuous as possible on my TV stand. So a white console would stand out right now. If I got a
Yeah.
white TV stand, maybe I'd get a white console. Very picky. Um,
I don't think they make white TV
and
stands.
Sims 4, I'm
Okay.
looking forward to
That's next week,
because
right?
Sims is rad. Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, that's like
Okay.
Tuesday. That's in a couple days.
Oh man, I forgot when it was coming out, and now I just got really excited.
Someone just
Sure, make
reminded me
sure
of
you
that
put it in
today.
your
Yeah.
scheduler.
Yeah, I know. Don't let the Sims don't let the Sims slip by you.
I'll double book The Sims and
Oh,
something.
no, right? Yeah, you'll be like, all right, it's September 9th. Let me go get Destiny. And then you see the Sims sitting there, and you're like, oh, crap.
And I was kind of looking at picking up Rogue Legacy because it looks pretty cool.
I've heard so many
I
good
don't know that many.
things.
Yeah, I've heard really good things. I don't know that many details about it, but I'm like, I'm gonna play it,
It's
and
a
I might
punishing
play
game,
Fez
just
next
letting you
week.
know ahead of time. Oh,
It's a
you might
what
play
game?
Fez, a punishing game. It's a tough game. You got to die
Oh,
over and over again, and but it's supposed to be pretty cool from what I can tell.
uh,
Fez, you said you're gonna pick up. What are you gonna pick that up on?
I think I already have it on Vita right now. Maybe
It's
or PS3.
cross-buy.
It's somewhere.
Oh, is it
Yeah,
really?
It's
it's somewhere in my library. It
Cool.
it's
was like
cross-buy.
free for PS Plus a while ago.
Very cool. Very cool.
So, uh, so yeah, and like I've been meaning to play it since I saw Indie Game the movie,
Hmm.
and haven't because I actually have like maybe 2.5 hours per week max to play video games right now. So I, while I do work in the video game industry, I am probably the worst gamer possible.
Well, I mean, if anybody doubts that fact, they can just go back and listen to this episode, and then you can be like, no, see, look, I suck. Just kidding. Did you play the beta of Destiny by any chance?
No, because I didn't have a PS4.
Well, you could play
You
it on
could
your
have played on
PS3 when it was
PS3.
out. Yeah.
Oh no! Do you know what was actually happening then? Now that I remember,
When it opened,
I
yeah.
was I was in the middle of moving, and I went through a breakup, and I let him keep the PS3. So I was waiting to get
Boo.
a new one. So I missed out on
Boo.
that.
That's rough.
But I have a PS3 now. My
What
dad gave me one because he's
do
the
you
best.
know anything about Destiny? Do you know like about the classes and all that stuff? Do you know what you're gonna play as, or
I
you're
have
just gonna kind
no
of dive
idea.
in and learn about it?
I'm just gonna dive in, and it'll be an adventure. I'll annoy
Yeah.
my friends that I'll play with because I won't know anything, and
Hell
that'll
yeah.
be just like me playing Dota.
Very nice. Um, okay, so Rory, what are you looking at playing in the next foreseeable future? And besides the retro stuff, like what are you picking up
Oh,
next?
lots, man. This fall is crazy. I don't know how I'm going to manage. Honestly, my wallet is just going to hate me. I'm interested in
Gamefly,
playing.
man.
I'm interested in. I like to buy my games and have them there, even if I never go back to play them. That's why I've been buying a lot of digital stuff. But anyway, Evil Within, Alien Isolation, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Destiny, the GTA, if that ends up hitting, I'll probably dabble next gen on that for sure. There's a lot of stuff coming, and I want it
Mhm.
all. NHL, I've been playing the NHL demo, and it's pretty great, so I'm looking forward to picking that up.
I played that. I forgot to mention that. I played the
Uh,
NHL demo. That's the first time I played an NHL game since Blades of Steel.
Blades of Steel.
Yes.
Anyway,
Holy crap.
lots of stuff coming. Like basically all the big releases that are hitting. Like I'm interested in Dragon Age as well. So I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna pick up as much as I can afford and enjoy as much as I can.
Nice. Nice, nice. I think next is Destiny, right? There's nothing in between now and Destiny besides The Sims on Tuesday. Don't forget,
Yeah, no,
Eden.
I've been holding back on purchases, waiting for Destiny. I told myself, just don't buy anything. You've been buying too many games. Just hold off. Wait for Destiny. It's coming out in a month or so, and now it's right around the corner. So that will be
Yes.
my first purchase in at least a month, I think.
All right. So Sean, what are you looking at
Um,
next? What's the next thing on your docket?
well, uh, the next thing is Destiny.
Hmm.
I'm getting that for PS4. But I was gonna buy it, but my paychecks don't line up. So what I'm
Oh,
gonna
okay.
do is
Yeah.
rent it from GameFly, and then I'm just gonna choose the keep it option, and
Good
then
call.
wind up getting the game for like $40 because I have a bunch of discounts on there from being a member for so long.
Very nice.
And
Very
then
nice.
I'm gonna be hopefully I need to get in touch with Bethesda about Evil Within. I might be getting a review copy of that.
Yeah. If you need any help with that, just let us know. I mean,
Okay.
we'll gladly want to start that connection.
And Sunset Overdrive, I'm gonna rent. I'm going through the games I'm renting first. I'm gonna
Yeah.
rent Sunset Overdrive,
I
and I'm
forgot
gonna
about
rent
that one.
Assassin's Creed Unity, and I'm gonna rent Far Cry 4. The reason why I'm renting Far Cry 4, as much as I love it, still a single player game to me, and I'm not really gonna play multiplayer. So it's once I'm done with the campaign, I'll be done with that game.
It still
And same
blows
thing
my
with
mind that there was
Assassin's.
competitive multiplayer in Far Cry 3. That still blows. Like, how did I not know that?
I don't know either. There was
I
co-op
see. I knew the co-op stuff, but I
competitive.
totally missed the competitive. Was there matchmaking? How the hell? I
Yeah,
don't.
it was just regular multiplayer, just a
Damn.
regular. They had domination, team deathmatch, a couple of stuff.
What?
But yeah, so those are the games I'm gonna rent. But the games I'm gonna buy are technically Destiny. I mean, not
Yeah.
technically. I am
Yeah.
buying it, but I'm gonna buy it from GameFly. I'm buying Call of Duty, Advanced Warfare, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm not I nothing because Call of Duty, like, I'm gonna play it more. Like, multiplayer games have more of a draw to me
Sure.
in terms of buying it because I'm gonna have a long time to play that game. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna play it for a long time, and but everything and single player games, I don't. It's just not worth it to me to spend $60 on it anymore. I actually had to delete Alien Isolation from my GameFly queue because of the Assassin's Creed Unity delay. I had
Oh,
it
right.
layered.
Okay.
I had it, pretty staggered, but oh well. But then yeah, I mean, all the games I wanted got bumped. Evolve was going to be the thing I was looking. Evolve was the game I was looking most forward to this fall in
That's
terms of
crazy.
buying,
Yeah.
and now that's not there. I mean, I can't really think of anything else that I'm gonna straight up buy this fall. So
Yeah. All right. So, let me pull this back up. For this week, I wanted to talk just real briefly about some of the stuff that's going on um, around Rated M and some of the other podcasts and stuff. We're working on trying to build a little bit along the lines of what Jimmy and Eden is doing. You guys have more than one show. You have Jimmy and Eden. You have Very Wonderful, and what is the other? Upper Body Injury. Is that correct?
We have Upper Body Injury, which is a sports podcast, and then we also have Jared Petty's Contestants Are You Ready, which he co-hosts with Naomi Kyle and Vince Janito. And then we're launching another show next week called, actually, we haven't revealed what it's called yet,
Oh
so
man,
you'll find out
Reveal
exclusive.
it right
soon.
here. Reveal it right here. Live. Let's see it,
Exclusive.
Steve.
That's okay. You do what you want to do. That's cool. We're trying to do a bit of what you guys have going on there, and I have the site that's, I mean, it's like the worst URL ever. It's drewfreeman.squarespace.com, but it literally exists just so that we can put these shows on iTunes, and there's an RSS feed and stuff. But I'm slowly turning that into hopefully a landing page for other people to be able to come to the site and be like, oh, okay, I heard about Rated M. What's this all about? So, we get tired of trying to say like, hey, follow us on Twitter, like our page on Facebook. Oh, by the way, we have a group. Oh, by the way, you can check us out on YouTube and on Twitch and on iTunes. oh, and we all also do other stuff like We the Nerdy and Red Eye Games Live, and I do a Halo podcast, and Sean plays video games and then yells at you, and like to kind of put that all in one place, we're trying to do something similar to what you have going on with Jimmy and Eden, and what a lot of podcasters I'm starting to learn, that this is the best way to do it. So we're trying to build a community over there, and I wanted to announce that we're officially calling it DMF Gaming Network. It is basically going to be Rated M, Podcast Evolved. Red Eye Games Live will be part of the crew, the network there. We got a couple other podcasts that I'm still talking to. I don't know if we're going to announce those yet, but I think we're going to have something similar going on. But I wanted to just kind of put that out there real quick for anybody listening to keep an eye out for that. Um, yeah, tell me just briefly a little bit about Jim and Eden and like where that came from, and just let everybody know where they can go check it out.
So you can check out jimmyandeden.com or follow us on Twitter at Jimmy and Eden. So Jimmy and I started a podcast after doing another one that we just weren't happy doing at the time. And eventually we just started to grow and wanted to do more shows. And Jimmy and Eden, the whole idea of it is that we bring on people from the video games industry to come and talk about not video games. So, for example, we had Max Scoville on who talked about bugs. In a little bit, we're going to be recording with Alfredo and Alexis Conzombolidis. And we are actually all booked up officially for the rest of this year. So we're going to be having guests every single week for the rest of the year. And then we also have 3 other shows. Very Wonderful is probably a more strict gaming podcast. We talk a lot about anime and Dota and what's coming out, and general pop culture stuff too. And that's hosted by Katie Casarda from IGN as well as Miranda Sanchez. And then there's Upper Body Injury, which is a weekly sports podcast hosted by Warren Ryberg and Nick Fay. And then we have Contestants Are You Ready, as I mentioned, which is hosted by Jared Petty and Naomi and Vince. And yeah, we're growing really rapidly and we're really, really excited about it. It's been about 6 months of the most crazy planning and getting it going and doing all that stuff, but it's been incredibly fun.
So you do this. You have Jimmy and Eden, and then you have your YouTube channel where you just I noticed you were doing 30 days of covers. Did you hit 30 yet, or I didn't know where you started?
So on Friday I hit 30.
Awesome.
So I'm all wrapped up on that project, luckily. I'm going to be posting a blog post about it on my website, I think tomorrow or the day after. Haven't decided with Labor Day weekend, but yeah, so I am a musician. I play in 2 bands. I'm working on a project with Brian Altano, and I'm also doing a solo EP, which should be out this month.
Cool.
Or September because it's August still. So I actually ended up running into writer's block because I was working on 4 different projects at a time. So I decided that a good idea would be to learn a bunch of other people's songs to see what they were doing and how they were writing and how their like structure worked. And so I challenged myself kind of on a whim to do 30 covers and actually finished it, which I didn't think would actually happen.
What are some of your favorites that you've done so far? Because you've done some weird stuff. Because your style has all been pretty consistent, but you've picked some really interesting songs that you would never imagine anyone would cover in the style that you cover them in.
The second last one I did was Groove is in the Heart, as requested by Bill Zoker. That was pretty fun. I did, like, my favorite sounding one was probably Grimes Vanessa. And then
you did I Touch Myself. I haven't listened to that yet.
Yeah, I did I Touch Myself. Yeah, that was pretty great.
That was a bold
and then
choice.
yeah, but it was fun. So I covered the Sailor Moon theme song. I covered the Cops theme song. So
That's awesome.
I actually had it open so that people could send in requests for songs as well. So I got to try out a lot of songs that I hadn't even like listened to before. So I did a cover of Okerville Rivers, another radio song, and I hadn't actually like listened to that band at all. And covered it, and it doesn't sound very true to the song. Like it's the same melody and stuff, but I play it quite a bit differently. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, it was a really fun project, and I'm really stoked that it's done because it was really hard on my voice, and I have the worst calluses now on my fingers.
Oh God. Well, that's pretty cool. Well, we wanted to thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate your time and making us move our show up 4 hours. Sorry, we just want to give you shit about that. No, we really, we love having people like we got a little lucky, and we had people that I really didn't anticipate, getting back with us on the show earlier. But I've been wanting to get, you on. I've been wanting to grab, other podcasters that I'm like aware of, and I have always wanted to talk to, but haven't had like a reason or a chance to. And so we really appreciate you dropping by, especially on such a busy
Anytime.
schedule. Sean, what is your
Yes.
Twitter, bro?
You can follow me at Into and Other. That's the letter N, the number 2, the letter N, Other, all one word. That's also my PSN and Xbox Live account
Yes.
names. So yeah, if you want to jump in and play some Diablo or Titanfall
We have a lot of
or
people.
Destiny when
We
it
have a
comes
lot of
out.
people that want to play Destiny on PlayStation, and I think that I'm gonna push every single person I know that wants to play Destiny on PlayStation to you, and I'm gonna
As
tell
long as
them
they
like
don't
just
talk.
no, I'm gonna
As
tell
long as
them
they
like,
don't talk.
dude, go join Sean. Just start up a strike with him and just tell him your life story.
It'll be the
Yeah,
quietest, loneliest multiplayer game you've ever played.
They're
I
gonna
will
be over
kick
there
them
like,
out of
what the
multiplayer.
fuck?
No,
Where do I
we can
go?
talk about the game. I don't care about your life. I don't care about any of that stuff.
Tell
That
him your
stuff we can
favorite
talk
food.
in a
What's
text
your
or a chat, but not while I'm playing the game.
What's the weather like while you're playing with Sean? Tell him, he wants to know. All right, so Rory, you are now part of the DMF Gaming Network, and that is because you
Yay!
stream on DMF, or you stream Red Eye Games Live, right, bruh?
I do streams every week. They're usually fun. Sometimes they're not. It depends on the mood I'm in. But I try and keep it high energy. We play a bunch of random stuff. I'm gonna have a lot more than just gaming gameplay type stuff. I'm gonna be doing like live panels with a few guys on every week. I've actually got a show coming up as well that's movie based. Where a friend of mine, we're gonna do a mystery science theater type thing where we watch a movie and comment on the movie, and we also review fine snacks like cheeses and such. So it'll be an interesting time for sure. You can catch me on Twitter at Red Eye Games Live and find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Red Eye Games Live. Dropping it in the Twitch chat right now.
Faux show. Yeah. I look forward to seeing some more of that retro stuff, dude. I'm really enjoying what you're doing. I'm actually enjoying it more than I originally thought I would.
The retro
So
stuff's fun. I'm going to be playing one retro game. Basically, for each day of September, there'll be a game being played, a little let's play of a Nintendo game in honor
are
of
you gonna
Nintendo's
stick with
120th.
Nintendo, or are you gonna kind of hop around, or?
Oh, well, no, I'm going to play a lot of retro stuff and modern stuff, but there is going to be 30 Let's Plays of Nintendo games, just like short things, whether it be 15 minutes or so, but I'm going to
Cool.
pound that out as well as all the regular stuff.
Cool. So my Twitter is at Drew_Freeman85. You can find me on Xbox Live at Drewcifer space rated M. It's R8DM. Please check out drewfreeman.squarespace.com. We are constantly updating that. There's a lot that's going to be done there, but you can check out all kinds of crazy stuff. Like that time I did the Ice Bucket Challenge and then challenged Rory to it, and then he never did it.
Oh, it's happening. It's happening this weekend. Everybody just calm down. I will put icy water on me. I will donate. I just want to make sure that when I create my video, it's slick and
Oh
it's
man,
fun.
that
I got to
production
do it the
value.
Rory way. When I produce a video, it's got to be produced right, even if it's the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge.
All right, buddy. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in this week, and everybody checking out on the Twitch. It's twitch.tv/rated M for podcast. You can check us out on YouTube if you missed this. I know a lot of people are going to miss this because we're at a weird time. So it's youtube.com/rated M for podcast. You can check us out there, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Later.
Boom.